Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I am back for game 2 here between EG Jaedong RC. He is going to be the red Zerg player in the top left hand corner of Akalon Waste, and his opponent, who is going to be of course MYI Stardust, who's the blue Protoss in the bottom right hand corner. And Stardust so far winning the first game of this set against Jaedong. Very unexpected, but then again, when I watched Stardust play, it's almost like you have to expect the unexpected. He's an extremely aggressive Protoss player. And he didn't actually go for the same build that he did in the games against Hyun, but it was very similar in that he went for a very highly aggressive Protoss ground assault, and while it wasn't as crazy as a 9-gate, there was a lot of aggression, and he was able to catch Jaedong by surprise, I feel. A bit of an awkward timing, you don't expect it as Zerg, and it caught Jaedong off guard, and Jaedong still was somehow almost able to make a game out of it. With the ground forces he had, he went for a counterattack, and he almost, I feel like, was able to even up the odds, but it just felt like he had taken so much infrastructure damage at that point that it was just too much for him to overcome. So we'll see what happens here in game 2, now that he's had a first-hand glimpse of what Stardust is capable of. Will he let the same thing befall him as Hyun did a few games ago that I've casted, or will he find a way to adapt? We do have a spawning pool coming up right now. The probe is going to be mining some of the Zerg minerals here, just trying to extract them wherever possible. And of course, I like what Stardust is doing. He actually did this a couple of games as well that I've seen him do against Hyun, is he'll block that mineral stack from being able to be mined, because a mineral stack in StarCraft can only be mined by one worker at a time. So if you keep it occupied and then you tell the probe to go away and then come back in like a millisecond, you actually never pick up those minerals, but you keep the mineral stack occupied and you prevent the Zerg from mining there. So really nice little play that some of the high-level players can do. Jaedong was able to get the hatchery down there because he brought 2 drones down, didn't want to be delayed in any way possible, and he has gotten the hatchery down. Meanwhile, it looks like Stardust is going for his Nexus as well. We do have another pylon coming up over here, and one thing, you just keep your eyes, guys, on that production tab in the top left-hand corner, because I might not catch it while I'm casting, but Stardust might just throw up a bunch of gateways, and there it comes, you know? You just have to be very careful when you're playing against a Protoss player that's this aggressive. And if I recall correctly, it was game 2 where Stardust played against Hyun in this tournament, and it was the same exact map, and Stardust went for a 2-base all-in. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous when you're playing against a Protoss with this much aggression on his side. Jaedong will have to be very careful. It looks like he wants to go for a 3rd hatchery here, which, you know, cautious is going to be the word of the day here for Jaedong. It looks like he is going to try to get it down, though. This pylon from the Protoss, I think mostly because Stardust wants to deny it for as long as possible. And look at this, he doesn't even cancel the pylon. He leaves the pylon up, so he really wants to, I guess, I don't know, either he forgot to, or maybe he really wanted to get that extra little bit of deny in. But now he knows for sure there's a hatchery there. I mean, it would be pretty weird for Jaedong to kill the pylon and not throw the hatchery down, especially with the drone standing there for the entire time. So Stardust from this point onwards pretty much knows that Jaedong has 3 hatcheries, and if he wants to, he could certainly be aggressive and try to punish Jaedong. We'll see what he does here. It looks like he does have a couple of gases back at home, and he is now throwing down a chrono boost for his probes. One interesting thing that I've seen so far from his games, I don't think I've seen a mothership core. And while, you know, a lot of players might feel like, oh, well, the mothership core is a great unit because it's, you know, it's flying, it does a little bit of damage, it has some abilities. In actuality, it costs a little bit from the Protoss. I think it costs 100, 150, or 150, 100 if my memory serves correctly, 100, 100. So it costs a little bit for Protoss, and it really hinders their ability to get Warp Gate, another stock, or whatever out. So you can see that Stardust is opting not to go for Mothership Core, but here, look at this, Jaedong is going for a Roach all-in. Oh my god, I guess we should have been looking at the Zerg production tab, because Jaedong, he canceled the 3rd hatchery. Jaedong cancels the 3rd hatchery, and he's gonna go with a sick attack here. And honestly, Stardust is going for, once again, the same strategy he did in the first game, which is this naked 1-gate robo. He has no other technology, no other gateways down at all, and I guess Jaedong must have either watched the replay from the prior game or something, but he's realized here that Stardust has a vulnerability. And if you guys recall from the cast in the prior game, I mentioned, hey, if Jaedong went for a Roach all-in, I don't see how Stardust could hold this off, and Stardust is in a lot of trouble. Here comes the roaches. He's trying to throw up more gateways right now, but I don't think he can hold this off. These roaches are just gonna barrel through the front door. One sentry does come out, force field coming down, but 2 roaches already coming behind the force field. Now probes have to come off the mineral line. That pylon, that sentry has gone down, and now it's just 1 pylon powering the entire grid of buildings here. It looks like the probes trying to keep the pylon alive, trying to get rid of these roaches, but all the probes are gonna go down, and Jaedong has breached through the front door. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is just straight GG. I don't see how in the world there is a mothership core. That's one reason why you need to get it. If you need to defend against something like this, then a mothership core makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, not enough energy for a photon overcharge, it looks like. And these roaches are just, yeah, they depowered the entire grid. I was mentioning, if Jaedong just targets that pylon down, then everything goes unpowered. And now Jaedong is in the main base. A little bit of revenge here for Stardust. You want to be aggressive? Eat some Jaedong aggression. And that is it. That's it. Jaedong is victorious. So game 2 happening very quickly, and that's what happens when you mess with Jaedong, I guess. Don't mess with him. He will get you back. So now it is tied up 1-1 apiece. We are going to go to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. And this is HD signing out.